Sometimes I get things wrong. This week's topic is one of those times. We were meant to talk about feminism and class about a month ago to coincide with the 1st of May, which some people may or may not know is an international workers' holiday, in the same way that we'll generally try and schedule certain topics to coincide with certain events like Valentine's Day and Christmas and International Women's Day. But a couple of weeks before we were meant to talk about it, some of the dames suggested that they weren't sure about what they were going to say and could we maybe postpone it, and everyone seemed to agree that that would be fine, and so we moved it. And when the 1st of May rolled around, then I saw a lot of people wishing everyone Happy May Day and wishing everyone solidarity. I was quite annoyed that we hadn't talked about feminism and class that week, and some of the other dames then spoke up too and said that they also hadn't been happy that we just so casually moved feminism and class when, if anything, was like a big international day to base a topic around. That was, and I think part of the reason I didn't recognise that and didn't see how significant May Day was is because I'm middle class. I wasn't really sure myself what I would say in a video about feminism and class because it's not something that's a big issue to me. It's not something that I've read a lot about, and I would feel like I was trying to talk about something that I didn't know enough about to have an opinion on. I mean, one of my biggest experiences of the feminism class intersectionality is actually that in a lot of supposedly anti-oppression movements there's a strong focus on class to the detriment of any other type of liberation discussion. Like, oh yeah, you can have your gender liberation after we've dealt with capitalism, yeah? But that's just how class-based discussions are failing to include feminism. But then I've never really considered how feminism is failing to include class-based discussions. One of the big things we wanted to do when we set up this channel was to make it open and accessible to everyone. I think it can often feel like a lot of feminist discussion and debate is very academically centred. Like, if you haven't read certain texts, then you don't feel like you can contribute. That's something that I felt even as someone with, you know, a middle class educated upbringing. So the fact that I allowed us to just brush off this particular intersectionality that isn't given enough time is bad, and I should recognise that. And I think because of that, one of the biggest things I wanted to do with this video is to apologise to those dames who did want to talk about feminism and class and who weren't adequately listened to and weren't adequately given space to speak, and obviously to you, because I'm sure there's lots of other people out there who would have loved to hear a week of videos on feminism and class and the intersectionality around May Day, and we didn't put that out there, so that's bad for you guys as well. So we've decided to put it this week with an exceedingly tenuous tie to it being the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebration next weekend, because class still is a big issue, particularly in this country where we still have a literal royal class who sit above the rest of the population. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you other dames have to say this week. Particularly quite a few of you are really looking forward to your videos and how I can try and learn to be better in that respect. The other thing that I have to make sure I mention in this video right before the end though is that we have an air date for when we're going to be on TV. We mentioned a few weeks ago that we'd done some filming with the BBC, and now we know that 20th of June this year we're going to be on telly talking about body hair and feminism and stuff, so that's going to be quite exciting. I'm going to put a link below to a Facebook event so you can RSVP, put it in your diary. Non-UK folks, I'm afraid you probably won't be able to see when it airs, but hopefully we'll be able to find some kind of link around for you to watch it. I know a few people have been mentioning proxy services, which you definitely shouldn't use to watch us. So that's about it for me this week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye!